By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, so we may transform it into light. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Today we walk the path of the dove and serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that help to shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the 10 of Swords. This is the birdcage card. This is the station, first position. It represents your essential self. It represents kind of what we're doing when we close our eyes at night. You know, this is the way we see ourselves right now. And I think you see yourself as being liberated. You see yourself as freeing yourself from something that is pulling you down. This is an excellent way to begin. It shows that we've identified where our blockages are, and we're finding ways to get out of it, to release this energy, to move on from this, to break the chains, to take the bars of the birdcage and split them open and get the heck out of there, spread our wings and fly, you know? So this is a very good card, and I think this is kind of like, this is what your preoccupation is right now. This is your core energy. You see yourself as someone who is doing the work, freeing yourself from something that has been holding you back. You've got your attention fixed on now, how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this prison? How do we, how do we stop sabotaging ourselves? How do we stop stabbing ourselves in the back? Okay. What have we been doing that's been preventing our growth? Okay. This is a card sometimes of pointlessness, It's the sun in Gemini. It's illuminating us. It's illuminating the way we might be thinking. Usually, the things that are holding us back are mental constructs and constraints. So the sun now is your soul, your spirit, the divine, shining a light on those things that have been holding you back mentally. False beliefs, patterns of behavior, the paradigm that we've been in, the worldview that we've been holding. Okay? And really, it's us being aware of, like, what are we afraid of, right? Why not? Right? What's the point of staying in the birdcage? Inside the birdcage, it's safe. You probably get food, right? Someone comes in and puts, water in that little bottle with the ball at the end, There's not much to do, not much to see. It's kind of, it's limited. Outside of the birdcage, there's a lot of risk out there. There's a lot of potential problems. Yeah, a lot of danger outside the birdcage. A lot of obstacles out there. It's not as safe or as familiar or as comfortable as what's in the birdcage. So really getting out of the birdcage is a conquering of fear. Where have we been afraid to conquer our own limitations and to sort of advocate for our own freedom? Let's put this card into a little bit of context. We're going to use our dove and serpent spread. We have an Empress energy. Well, that's quite nice. We have the Devil card, your superpower card. That's the card that rules the sign of Capricorn. It's very lovely to get that card. We have a 5 of Cups, sure, of course. We have a 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups and Swords, heart and mind. Confusion, sadness, disappointment, questions, right? A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. It makes total sense. Your heart and your mind are conflicted about things, right? There's a discord that you feel inside of you. Here we have the Ace of Cups. Well, that's quite nice. We have a Princess of Swords. So we don't have answers, but we're going to keep asking questions. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep exploring. We're going to keep investigating, right? 7 of Swords, a lot of distractions, a lot of reasons, a lot of things that are going to try to push you off the path. Once we get out of this bird cage, then we're really asking for trouble, you know? Here we have the Prince of Wands and finally the Queen of Cups. Very nice, especially the Queen of Cups. I'm looking forward to talking about her. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here and put Dwight K. Schrute right there on top. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. And if you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments down below, okay? We're going to save that one for later. It should tie everything together. First, let's take a look around the room. Yeah. Because what we see is major, major. 2 major arcana. The Devil card, the climbing the mountain, the goat, right? This driving force within you. It's the drive to become everything that you could become, right? Outside the birdcage, you're free to grow into whoever you're supposed to be. Okay, bottom line. And that's what's at the top of the mountain. That's why you're climbing the mountain here. Okay, the mountain is your quest, your journey. The mountain is your life. And at the top of the mountain is you being you, living the life you're meant to live. It's not waiting for you at the top of the mountain. Really, it's who you're becoming as you climb. Okay? And this is now you're owning your life. You're the best version of yourself, and you're living your best life because you have taken this journey, this quest in life, which is probably a little scary, right? A little frightening, but it's worth it, right? It is worth it. So we have our majors. We have fire. We've got water. We've got air. What we don't have is any earth cards, and it's always interesting when we don't have the earth cards, because really it doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is how and why you're doing it. Okay? It doesn't matter what your mountain is. It doesn't matter who you're going to be or what you're going to be doing or where you're going to be doing it. At least it doesn't matter to me. As long as it's what you want and what you feel in your soul, what you feel in your bones, as long as it is you. I don't care who you are or what you're doing. I want you to become who you're meant to become, whatever that looks like, you know? And so the absence of the earth cards is saying, let's not worry about what the physical results of it are. Let's not be tied down to all those specific details. Let's live our life truly and authentically. Let's get out of this fear. Let's get out of the birdcage and find out what's out there. Maybe we have to explore here. You're following the path with heart. We don't know what it's going to look like, you know? We know that the Empress now is our second card, position 2, the battlefield. And this shows your personal task or quest, becoming the ultimate sort of version of yourself, fulfilling your potential, right? Sometimes this shows us the events that are testing our strength. Sometimes this is a card of comfort. The quest right now is for you to overcome the inertia of being in the birdcage, the temptation to stay put. See, nature wants us to rest and relax and procreate and not go outside and do anything dangerous, because then we won't be able to spread our genes, you know? We have to overcome that. This is the temptation to stay in bed. This is the temptation to stay where it's comfortable. You're thinking about getting out of the birdcage? Here's a little bit more bird seed for you. You want one of those little, what are they? They make those little honey things for the birds, you know? We used to have birds when I was a kid. I've told that story before. That's why I choose not to have birds as pets, because I love them so much, you know? Anyway, no offense to anybody that does keep birds as pets. I just, I don't know. Trauma from when I was a kid. The temptation there is coming from our own mind, coming from the rest of the world too, that wants us to stay asleep. Whenever someone's thinking about getting up and doing something else, a lot of things pop up to say, are you sure? No, just stay here. It's nice here. You like it here. All your friends are here. You know, we'll give you more. Don't leave. We'll give you more, right? Anytime you try to cancel a subscription, right? Guess what happens? You go through a lot of pages that say, are you sure we'll give you 50% off? Are you sure we'll give you 1 month free? And then you get emails, right? Oh, we're sorry to see you go. Please come back. Please come back. We want your business. It makes it very difficult for us to change. And this, again, it's not just a commentary on the world in which we live, but it's a commentary on our own human nature. That, well, not even human nature, just nature. It makes it easier and makes it feel good for us to be sitting down doing nothing. It feels good to lay in bed. It feels good to be in the birdcage and just do whatever you do in a birdcage. You know, prune your feathers or something. And so a lot of us have a hard time getting out of that. And that's the temptation, that's the battlefield of the Empress. Kind of wanting to just comfort us and keep us safe and sound, to keep us from going anywhere. You know, this is, I don't know what the complex is called, but this is like a maternal energy that doesn't want the kids to ever leave the house, you know. It's like it's a mother figure that doesn't want the kids to grow up. Wants to keep them as babies forever. Doesn't want them to leave the house, right? Doesn't want to sort of experience that pain or that separation, you know. So that's kind of the challenge that's afflicting you right now, is like, it may be very comfortable to stay the same. It may feel like this is good. Why would we choose to change? Why would we choose sort of the stress and the chaos of getting out of the birdcage, when it's just easier to stay put? And so we have this dilemma of freedom or bondage, right? Chaos or order. Inside the birdcage, it's orderly. Things are on a schedule. Getting your food, it's 3 o'clock. This is when the humans usually feed me. Actually, it's 4 o'clock now. My watch doesn't work anymore, I just noticed. Weird. Huh. And so there's a schedule, there's a routine, there's a regimen to it. There's something predictable and something expected in there. But we see that it's kind of pointless. What's the point of living that sort of birdcage life when there's no fulfillment there? This is a dry hole. This is a desiccated, there's no meat on the bones here. This is now a situation for you that has become pointless. It's become just a routine, a comfortable thing for nothing. Why? There are no meat on the bones. Desiccated, the dry hole, yeah. So it's our dilemma right now to sort of recognize that and to be willing to go and choose stress, choose chaos, choose freedom. And I think you know what this situation is. I don't know what it is for you. But down beneath the surface, we have your superpower card, which is position 3, the devil card. I like to ring the bell. This is your unconscious drive. This is literally the card that is your driving force, your motivation. This is your creative drive. This is your aggressive drive. This is your pleasure drive. It is your generative drive. You have an ambition, I think innately. We have some sort of a drive to do more, to build something, to create something, to express something, to do something. And when we start to feel like our life as it is pointless, it's because we don't have anything to do. We may be busy doing things all day long, but do we have a purpose? Do we have a motivation? Do we have a drive to create something? So this is something that's whispering inside of you, and maybe it's starting to whisper louder. I feel like your guides are screaming at you. That we need to start taking the initiative to shape our destiny. This is the driving force. This is the engine of the car. I mean, we may have this powerful engine, you know, like a 402 cubic inch, whatever kind of engine, right? This massive engine in our car. But we don't want to take it out. We don't want to scratch it up. I just want to keep it here and look at it, keep it in the garage. And the car's like, take me out, drive me. Let's get on the freeway. Let's spin the tires around a little bit. Come on, take me to the track, race me around in circles. I want to feel it. And then we say, no, keep it in the garage. Keep it nice. Don't want to get scratched. Might get dirty, And this is something inside of us that's feeling that way. And again, it's kind of that, I don't know that there's a maternal energy that's doing this to you, or that maybe something from long ago that's sort of still there, but it's just that feeling that things are so much easier or safer and so much less risky, so much more predictable and familiar, comfortable when I just stay inside the birdcage. Keep the car in the garage. But there's a driving force in you. There's something inside of you that wants to express itself. The engine of the car, it wants to do something, right? Whether this is a career ambition, whether this is a family ambition, relationships, whether this is art, some kind of creative, artistic endeavor. There's a song in you that wants to be sung. There is a story in you that wants to be told. There's a business that wants to be built. Basically, there's a mountain that wants to be climbed, and it's a creative mountain. Okay, this is your creative drive. And this is the opportunity for us to recognize what this is. We're like a beast in a cage here. What concealed part of you is seeking expression right now? And how do you honor this? Yeah. And this could be, the realm of family and the realm of achievement. It could be career achievement. It could be going back to school. It could be a sport. It could be a new hobby, an activity. Something needs some expression here. We're going to look at the dwarf position 4. This is the past influence, some inertia, that is some karma that's kind of holding you back right now. And it's that 5 of Cups. It's a card of disappointment. Okay. This feels to me like maybe there is a connection with a maternal energy for you. I don't know what's going on with the mom figure in your life, but it kind of feels as if there's still some sort of an obligation to that mother figure, or there's some kind of it's like you can still hear their voice in your head or something, right? In some ways, it feels like a very familiar energy for Capricorn, which is that you have at some point in your life dimmed your light for the sake of somebody else's well-being, that somebody else didn't want you to do something and you said, okay, fine, I won't, right? Whether it was leaving or aspiring to something else, or initiating something or starting something or whatever it was. I feel like somebody kind of was throwing a guilt trip on you or manipulating you emotionally in order to get you to not do something that you truly needed and wanted to do. So this is some kind of an old wound or some kind of a pattern that's still affecting you. And it's kind of like we're going to stay in the bird cage because that makes the humans happy, where the bird just would rather be out flying around. I don't know if birds think this way or not. I've never been a bird that I can remember, but it feels like we're sort of done doing things or not doing things just to please somebody else, just because it makes somebody else a little bit happier or prevents them from getting emotionally unhinged, I think we're done with that. I think we realize that that's kind of a pointless existence. Yeah. But I think that we are a little bit conflicted as well in other ways, especially with the bird cage, because it's comfortable. So we're choosing hardship, we're choosing discomfort over comfort here. And the same thing with the 5 of Swords at the top here. The 5 of Swords is your the giant, right? And this is the biggest thing, and it's the fact that we don't have certainty. We're sort of choosing uncertainty rather than certainty, just like we're choosing discomfort over comfort. This is the card of mental stress. And this is a card of saying, I have a lot of questions, I don't have any answers. I don't know what's going to happen, right? And we need to be okay with this. We need to say, yeah, I don't know what's outside the birdcage. I just know I can't stay here. Okay. And the more I think about it, the more questions I have, the more uncertainty I feel. The only thing I am certain of is that staying here is not serving me anymore. Okay? So you have an ability to go forward with no plan at all, or a bad plan, or half a plan, right? Or the beginnings of a plan. See, the 5 is not a 6. 6 is the perfect plan. 6 is saying, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of the birdcage. I'm going to take a left. I'm going to go 5 miles to the red barn. I'm going to make another left and whatever. This is saying, I don't quite know what I want to do. I know that there's something inside of me that wants to be heard, wants to be expressed, but I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to do it or how I'm going to figure it out. It's okay to not know. And I think you're realizing that. And so your strength right now, the giant here is kind of the strength that we need to embody in order to continue on this journey. We need to be strong enough to say, yeah, I don't know and I don't care. I'll give you a little secret. Nobody knows. The problem is a lot of people care, right? And I don't mean that literally. Of course we care, but the message seems to be that we're going forward with chaos and uncertainty. We're choosing freedom, even if it means struggle and hardship and confusion and questioning and doubts. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Okay. So I like this. I think that this is kind of it's the path of anywhere but here. Yeah. And I think we're ready to embrace this. And we can harness this by, continuing to ask questions, not expecting answers, not expecting any kind of certainty. Okay? Maybe we only really know that we want freedom, we want creativity, we want love, family, spiritual growth. I don't know what that means or how to get that, but I'm going to follow my heart, right? The next step for you, position 6, is the imago. Reveals the next steps, the future events, the immediate consequences of your actions, and the shape of things to come. This is the Holy Grail. You're following your heart here. You're asking questions, sure, but you're not worried about the answers so much. You're not trying to use logic, right? You're finding the path with heart. And you're starting the engine, you're driving the car, and it's not like you have a map printed out of where you're supposed to go. You're saying, I'm just going to drive. If it feels good, it feels good. If I'm going to go left, I'll go left. You know, my wife and I, she does tea leaf readings over at ULA, tea leaf readings, and we were walking at a state park the other day, and we were in the woods and a lot of mosquitoes and stuff. And there are a lot of splits on the trail. You can go left, you can go right, you walk a few feet, then you get another left or right. And we didn't know, we'd never been there before. We didn't know which way to go. I don't know what's down that way. I don't know what's down that way. And we're just walking, and it's just, we kind of like, we look at each other and we're like, let's go left. And we go left. There's just something about it. Something that's appealing down that way. And really, we were headed towards a lake where the water was so still it reflected the sky, the clouds. And so it really felt like we were miles up in the sky, looking down on the clouds. And so there was just something magical about going left, that it's like, let's go left. Don't know what's over there, don't know what it is, never been there before. But there was just something that said, it feels like that's going to be a better way. And we have to trust that about ourselves. It's intuitive. It maybe is emotional a little bit. It's like this, I got a feeling that left feels right, I guess. There doesn't have to be a reason for it. It's a feeling. It's not rational anyway. Okay? So we're following the path with heart. And this represents the very next step for you. And I think that this is passion, this is love, this is beauty, right? All the irrational things. Yeah, love and beauty, aesthetics, intuition. Yeah. And this is what you're following. This is the point. Yeah. Now, Path of the Serpent, we're going to talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, okay. Position 7 is the persona. The public mask, this is really a card of an explorer. This is somebody that is always trying new things. Has an idea, well, go with it. Right? And this, I think, is how other people see you. And maybe the other people see you as really like not knowing what you're doing, right? And we've got this persona of kind of like always changing our mind. Like, gosh, you really don't know your path because you're making left turns, right turns, left turns, right turns, U-turns. Like, gosh, well, you really don't know where you're going. And I think that we're kind of embracing this ignorance, right? We're saying, yeah, you're right. I don't know where I'm going, and I love it, you know. A lot of people think they know where they're going, or they're following some sort of script or some sort of a plan, and it feels safe and secure to be following that plan. This is kind of like here, we're following the treasure map, but there's no treasure there. We're following the script, we're following the recipe, but I don't like the dish that I'm making. What's the point of following the recipe if I ain't going to eat it? No one else is going to eat it. I don't like this. What's the point of following the driving directions if we don't care about whatever that destination is, or we don't like the route, we don't like the road we're on? Well, we're not always going to like the road we're on, right? But you understand what I mean. There's comfort in the familiar. There's comfort in having that security blanket of kind of knowing where I'm going and knowing, even if I don't like where I'm going, there's comfort in having directions to get there, right? I heard something the other day. I always make the worst plans, but I'm very good at them or something like that. I can't remember. I'll have to remember what that quote was. I always make bad decisions, but I'm very good at making them or something along those lines. And that's kind of what I see with that Ten of Swords, is that it's some sort of security to have a plan or to have a map or to feel like I know where I'm going, I know what road I'm on, even if I don't like where I'm going or I don't like who I am on this road. But at least I got the security of doing it, right? Something, I make bad choices, but I make them very well, or I do them well or something. Anyway, this is somebody that is changing course. Somebody that's experimenting, has an idea, has an intuitive hit, has a light bulb moment. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go this way, this way, this way. And that's okay. And people might look at you and think that you're aimless and directionless and flighty or fickle. Meh, so what? You're learning about yourself. This is a card of learning and curiosity and discovery and experimentation. We're exploring the woods here. You know, we're exploring the dark, scary forest of life. And yeah, I don't know what's out here. I don't know my way around. Sure, I might go in circles a few times, but that's okay. That's how you get to know a new place, right? You just sort of wander around. You ever move to a new city? How do you learn about the city? You just go get lost. You wander around the neighborhood. You say, oh, look, a bakery. Oh, look, a ice cream shop, you know? And you figure out where things are. You figure out what you like and what your path is. And you're sort of using your intuition. You're using your heart. You're saying, oh, I smell something good. There must be ice cream nearby. It must be a bakery or something. Anyway, you can tell I'm getting hungry. The next card is the shadow, right? And these 7 swords are all of those things that try to prevent us from doing what we really want to do. It's kind of like every time we open up the door to our house, the front door to go outside, there's all these sentries there with spears saying, where are you going, you know? And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll stay in the house. These are doubts. This is self-criticism, but it's also criticism from other people. And I think that this is sort of, we're done with that. You know, these positions on the spread are very intimately connected, these two, right? And so are these two. And these are very kind of similar but opposite cards. right? So this is kind of a driving force, and this is some relationship, interpersonal exchanges. This is a very enduring and a very persevering card as well, just like your Devil card. And this, of course, is the thoughts, the doubts, the questions, the confusion, and the chaos. So very similar. But these two now are kind of saying that, look, all of the, all of these distractions of life are starting to kind of motivate our engine. We're starting to feel that kind of roar inside of us. It may be that we've been trying very hard to stay on this straight and narrow path because we thought that's what we were supposed to do. But yet there are all these other paths that seem to be calling to you. All these other voices inside of you that are kind of whispering and saying, something's not right about this. You know, like this is, you're going from California to New York, a straight shot, straight driving the fastest route. All these other little swords then can represent all of the detours we could be taking, you know, all of the enrichment along the way, all of the national parks, the forests, all the monuments, all of the novelty along the way, the biggest ball of yarn, right? The biggest wheel of cheese, I don't know. And we're going to skip out on all of that stuff because I'm supposed to just go in this direction here. And we feel obligated to that. Why? Because that's what's on the map. That's what MapQuest printed out for me. I don't know. That's what I was told to do. That's what everybody else is doing. That's where all the other cars are going. I feel like you're taking the road less traveled because it feels more real. It feels more authentic for you. So in this case, it feels like we're looking for the distractions. We want something to shimmer in our peripheral vision, and we say, ooh, what's that shiny thing? And we go and we explore it. And we look at it. We get to know it, you know. I think that there are other voices in the world that sort of convince you not to do something. Because again, this is kind of like whenever we're trying to do something different, it's like the world just grabs its spear and says, no you don't, get back in the birdcage. Yeah, like a movie, like a bad movie. And it takes a lot of guts to really say, no, you know what, I'm going to go do it anyway. I'm going to go try to do it. We're very often discouraged by life, by the world, by other people, by even sometimes our so-called friends and family, of doing something different, something out of the ordinary. Very often our family just wants us to be safe. No, don't go out and do that thing because, you know, you could get hurt, you could fail. I don't want to see you get disappointed, you know. And sometimes we say, yeah, you're right, I'll just stay home. No, you got to follow your gut here because your gut is just looking for adventure right now. Yeah. And next card is the specter. The fear, the worry, the concern. Okay? And I think the concern is that we're going to feel empowered at first. When we get out of the birdcage, at first it's going to be like, all right, I'm out of the birdcage. All right, what are we going to do? And then after a few days, it's kind of like, I don't know, I kind of want to go back to the birdcage, right? I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like, it was fun at first, but now it's just like, I just want to go home. You know, it's like sometimes I'll agree. My friends will ask me to go do a hike or something, and I'll say, okay, yeah, let's go on a hike. And I'm all gung-ho about it. Pack my bag, get ready, I'm all fired up. And then like a couple hours in, I'm like, I want to go home and like watch TV, you know? And I think that we sort of recognize that possibility because we know that it's not going to be all fun and games. We know that it's going to be a surge of empowerment at the beginning, but then comes the long, grueling middle of the hike. It's fun at the beginning. You got your buddies. You're feeling good. You're just getting warmed up. You're joking. And then like a couple hours in, you're just like dragging, you know. And then the ending is pretty fun too because like there's the summit of the mountain. There's the end of the hike. There's the picnic bench like at the top of the hill. And we get that surge of energy and we hustle and we sit down and I made it. And it's fun. But we know that, you know, that middle portion is going to be quite a kick in the butt. It's not going to be fun and games. Life outside the birdcage is hard work. Okay? And that's what we have to really, this is what we have to face in order to understand kind of what we're asking for, what the real cost of freedom here, because we're going to be tempted to want to go back to the birdcage once things start to get real out here, The next card is very interesting. I like the Queen of Cups in this position. The outcome of the journey here, I think, is you really looking at the past. And the queens are always looking at the past. And looking at the past in the way of like understanding what we have just been through. Understanding how I feel, like processing the emotions of a past event. And this card, all the queens, are talking about how we transition out of something into something else. But really focusing on the transitioning out of something before we start something else, right? And like the Queen of Wands transitions very quickly out of the old thing and is ready for the new thing. The Queen of Wands transitions very slowly out of the old thing. This is somebody that leaves the movie and is driving home and they're thinking about the movie. They're not even thinking, they're feeling about the movie. They're sort of basking in all the emotions of that film that they just watched at the theater, right? Or they're at a party or they're at a wedding, right? And though for the next few days, they're just in those feelings of that wedding or that event or that concert. I've been to concerts where for days afterward, I'm still emotional about the concert I went to. There's some artists that do that for me. We're not trying to hurry up and process and get it done and get over what's next. We're trying to understand deeper feelings. How did this thing really touched me, It's like you go to a museum, you see a piece of art, and then for days afterward, you're just thinking about that piece of art. You're feeling the feelings. You're processing all of that emotion, okay? And I feel that this is very important that you allow yourself time to do this. When we get out of the bird cage and we're off on our new adventure, make sure that you allow yourself the freedom to feel the feelings and process the feelings of the bird cage. There's part of you that's going to miss the bird cage. There's part of you that's going to want to go back. There's part of you that's going to say, what was the purpose of all of that? What was the relationship really about? What did those feelings really mean? Who did I become? And why, maybe why do I feel kind of sad that I'm not there anymore, So don't force yourself to so abruptly forget about it. You might be making this transition quickly, but in your emotional body, that ending is going to take a while. This is the long ending where we're processing the feelings, whereas with the Queen of Wands, there's an ending, okay, I'm done with it. Ready for what's next. I don't even care. I'm not even going to think about it, not going to feel it, nothing, I'm done. This is something different. This is something where there's going to be a lot of residual emotion. Maybe this is a relationship, maybe this is a family thing, maybe this is the old job. Allow yourself that time. Okay? Now, let's look at position 11. This is the guide. This is the higher self, the true self, the voice of the silence within you that's trying to tell you what qualities we need to develop in order to move forward. I think we're going to need some kind of courage, some kind of fire. We don't have a lot of fire. I think we need more fire. We need the ignition for this engine. We need the car that this engine can go into. We need the chariot. We need the Knight of Wands. I think a knight would be very appropriate right now, especially since we're ending with the Queen. The Queen is processing the ending. The knight is ready to start the beginning of, the next thing. So, if you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Here we are. It's the Wheel of Fortune. I don't do reversals. Doesn't matter this card's upside down or not. The whole stack of cards was upside down. Doesn't matter. The Wheel of Fortune. And besides, it doesn't matter which way you hold the wheel. It's still the wheel, right? And the idea is whether we're at the top or the bottom of the wheel. And I think that this is a card of divine timing. This is a card of signs, symbols, and synchronicities. It's the card that says you got to trust the opportunity. When the door opens, you got to take it. When the human accidentally leaves the birdcage door unlatched, it's a sign from the universe that you're meant to go be free. Okay? It's not, you ever see like a cartoon or something where it's like the jailer has left the door to the jail open and the prisoner or the bird is like, oh, the door's open. Is this a trick? What does this mean? Should I go? Should I leave? Should I get out of here? Right? And then we very often see the bird just staying in the cage. When I was a kid, we used to leave the bird cage door open. The birds wouldn't leave. They said, I'm not stupid. I'm staying in the bird cage. There's food in here. And you would think a bird, that you leave the door to the cage open, the bird's going to just say, I'm out of here. Some birds don't. Some birds stay in the cage, right? And I think other animals probably do that too, except for cats. We leave the door open, the cats zoom, they're right out. I don't know what that is. Anyway, the cats are curious, right? Curiosity, the curious cat. So I think the Wheel of Fortune is telling you to look for those signs that tell you, hey, you're getting a green light. Why aren't you going? You're getting a sign from the universe here. Why are you still stopped at the intersection? You got the green, go. And I think the universe is going to give you a lot more green lights. I think that if you've been feeling like you've been at the bottom of the wheel, between the rubber and the road, things are going to improve for you as you start following the path with heart. Not following what other people are telling you should do, not following the map that you've printed out or somebody printed out for you, not following the well-trodden path, following your own path. Yeah. Expanding your life, broadening your horizons, expanding your consciousness, taking advantage of opportunities, going where your heart is directing you. Yeah. So I like this, the vision, the voice of your soul, the vision of your future. And we need to integrate this into our life, and we need to keep things going. This is the wheel of the chariot that contains the energy, right? So this is about getting a move on. This isn't about the car. This is about where the rubber meets the road. This is about actually taking the action, being proactive, and getting a move on, ambulating, right? Anyway, let the lessons of these 11 stations settle into your heart. Each card is a mirror. Each station is a temple of transformation, alternating between who you're becoming and the world you're creating. Remember also that the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the pattern of possibility. If this reading has illuminated your path, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram, we'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner and there's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn on Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.